The U.S. Army has banned the use of hemp-derived Delta-8 THC products. The Army has updated its policies to officially ban the use of Delta-8 THC and other intoxicating hemp products by soldiers. The U.S. Army has updated its drug policy to specifically ban Delta-8 THC and other intoxicating hemp-derived cannabinoids, Marijuana Moment reports. The Army first ruled against the use of hemp products in 2020 due to their potential to cause a failed drug test. However, those guidelines were issued before D8, THC, and other hemp-derived cannabinoids were becoming more and more readily available. And now intoxicating hemp products that behave very similarly to cannabis are widely available online and in retailers across the country. Specifically, the new rules ban synthetic cannabis and other tetrahydrocannabinol (THC) substitutes that have no known application other than mimicking the effects of THC in the human body. In quote, numerous synthetic THC substitutes are now available on the open market in many states. Synthetic cannabinoids such as Delta-8 THC and other THC substitutes are used in drugs such as spice, which are so closely related in action to THC as to make it obvious that synthetic cannabinoids and THC substitutes will have the same potential for abuse as THC. Experts from the Army Substance Abuse Program rules. Well, that's hilarious. We'll get into that later. Anybody who's ever smoked spice or knows about it will understand why. The update mentions that soldiers will undergo random screenings for Delta-8 during drug testing. Army officials also warn soldiers against eating foods containing poppy seeds, which can cause false positives on drug tests, the report says. And that's the story here by Graham Abbott of the Ganjapreneur. Look, I mean, spice, K2 and spice are completely different. Those actually do not contain any Delta-8 or any, hemp-derived Delta-9, as most of these products are now containing. And so it's kind of disingenuous by these experts from the Army, which, who knows who the hell they are, but for them to say that, it's completely false. If you do a simple analysis on spice and K2, it has, completely different chemicals that are not Delta-9, that are not Delta-8, or frankly any other synthetic derivative or isomer of hemp-derived CBD.
So no Delta-8 for Delta Force.
Exactly, but at the same time, it's like the spice. They're making the association to something that's actually way worse, right? It's forget about the abuse with THC. Spice is really crazy. I have some friends out here that are probably watching, and they'll probably remember an incident in Colorado where there was a soldier who was at a smoke shop that was right next to the dispensary that we, a vertical dispensary that we all worked for. And the guy went and bought spice from the head shop next door because he couldn't smoke cannabis and he wanted to experience whatever situation. So the problem was this is a really unfortunate story. This guy had his kid with him, but he proceeded to use the spice in the parking lot. And then he got so crazy, he runs into the dispensary and he starts stripping his clothes off, and then they have to subdue the guy. This is this is not the same as anybody experiencing anything with cannabis. I'm sorry. It's totally different. I think for the Army to be perpetuating that nonsense is really bad, but also, they were allowing this for so long and now they're walking it backwards. And I think that we already have established there's been a precedent for them to allow cannabis use, or just not say, or it's part of the don't ask, don't tell situation where they're hey, it is what it is. You failed the drug test, but we're still going to have you on the front line with a gun in your hand because that's what the Army and that's what the military does to these young guys. So I don't know if it's I don't know if there's the, if there's something duplicitous here, or if it's just simply the education at the highest levels in the scientific community that are sponsored and funded by the government are perpetuating this nonsense. I think it's a big problem.
Well, I don't think I don't think they set a precedence. This is just their slow reaction to what the market has evolved to since the signing of the hemp bill, Saman. So these things didn't exist before, so they didn't have to have a policy in place to ban it.
Well, I mean, when we're talking about recommending spice instead, just please keep in mind that we're talking about the group of people that has routinely, over the history of time, tested substances on human beings that they've militarized, doped them up to all holy hell, and sent them into the jungles. Like, we're not talking about a group who is really forward-thinking and very concerned about the health and safety of the individuals that they are working with. So, I mean, let's just keep it real. Jason, you've got a super
but
chat.
now they have a really cool art exhibit.
I would like to.
You can see those real bodies and real muscles.
I would like to see the military handbook on approved stress relief activities, because I can guarantee it's going to have to be more robust than Maria Shriver's suggestion that people do yoga for election anxiety. And so what are the things that the men and women that serve, especially on the front lines, what can they do to unwind besides Netflix and chill or pizza, right? And I don't know what that is, but I think that we need to think about when these people are in these high stress, high intensity environments, what are they allowed to do to tune down and to sort of chill out for a little bit? I don't know what the answer is, but give me a little bit of advice, please.
You don't want them to tune down and chill out. You want them to be like jacked up, crazy fucking killing machines, because that's what we do when we militarize people for the use of our government, right?
Not 24/7. People have leave. People have R&R. People have the ability when they're not in. They should, I think, be able to chillax.
Mm-hmm.
It should read scripture.
Yeah, don't start to chillax.
Yeah, Delta-8 gummies all day.
Go pray.
Go pray.
But at the same
It's
time,
more relaxing than praying.
At the same time, I'm sure we lose a lot of really good men and women that serve our country because of these backwards ass policies. So I think that's an important thing to be noted, and we shouldn't be That's basically us fighting ourselves. It doesn't make any sense.
We have a suicide problem. We have a PTSD problem. We have a how do we support these people when they come back and try to transition to civilian life problem, and we have an HR problem for what is arguably one of the largest organizations in the world, which is the U.S. military. How do we take care of these people, and how do we let them unwind?
Right.